Alright, so last video I told you my job history with Costco, and today I want to talk to you about my top 3 favorite jobs or the best jobs to have at Costco according to me based on my experience. I'll tell you some good things about it, I'll tell you some cons about it, and I'm going to throw in a couple of departments where I haven't personally worked but I think are good jobs. So starting with the deli. So the deli was awesome. One, all you're doing is prepping food. You're prepping all of the cold items, but you also get to work with the rotisserie chickens. There's not a lot of member interaction either. You're basically just working with your department, with your group of people, and then you're just making food. And it's awesome because you just get to talk about whatever you want to talk about. You create good friendships there. I don't know if this is allowed in every Costco or not, or maybe it's not allowed at all, but we used to always have music, so we would have like, it was a cool chill time, just hanging out with your friends prepping food for 8 hours. So that was awesome. For what I consider to be a stationary job, meaning like you're basically just in one spot, I think this is a pretty active job. So you're always working with your hands. So you're either working too much, like prepping the foods in the deli room, or you're prepping the rotisserie chickens, and that is such a good shoulder workout. Once you put all those chickens, put them in the skewer, and then put them in the oven. Yeah, I don't think I had as strong as shoulders as I did when I worked in the deli. So that was awesome. One last thing, and I don't know if this is with every Costco, or maybe my manager was just really nice, but whenever we got new dishes, he would make it, we would prepare it, and then he would have us try it out during our lunch. I don't know. Have you worked in the deli? Do you get to try the new dishes, or was that just my manager? Now, some potential cons about this department is that you are working with your hands a lot. And me personally, after working with frozen foods a lot, I developed a little bit of a tendonitis on my wrists. So that kind of hurt. When we prep the mac and cheese, that's hard, solid cavatappi or whatever it's called, and you're just like mixing it all together, and it hurts sometimes. So that was definitely a downside of working in that department. Another con is it can get a little too cold sometimes. If you're not moving too much, you will get cold. Or if you're working with the rotisseries, it can get a little too hot. So it can be a bit jarring when you're like working rotisseries and you're putting the skewers in the oven and you're sweating, and then you go into the cold, and it's like it feels good, but then with your sweat, it gets a little cold. Okay, my second favorite job is membership. And technically it's because it's sort of 2 jobs in one. In the same department, you'll do returns, and you're also working the actual membership side where you help people, like new people with their memberships, making changes and stuff like that. So one of the things that I did like about this job after being in the deli for so long is that it was pretty challenging. Like there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of information that you're getting, and I also consider this to be a pro, is that you learn a lot about the company, you learn a lot about how it all works. So membership was awesome. There were certain instances where you have to like do a lot of search in the system, and like once you know our system, which is AS400, if you're familiar with that, and you know all of the codes, and you can go in and like search for things for like to help people return something or find a price for something. I don't know. It made me feel like a detective sometimes. And like, you don't want to spend too much time with a member, but you do get to spend a little more time than just like, hey, how's it going? Okay, thanks, bye. That's nice. It's a fast paced job, and I like that. Once you like get to help somebody out and they're like grateful for it, like it's just a very satisfying job. Returns is fast paced. Until you get like maybe some complicated ones, but I don't know. I feel like you're gonna get that everywhere, right? But the majority of the time, it's pretty easy. People just give you their card, the item, and you return it, you're done. And then the next, and then the next. With the membership side, I really liked showing people how the memberships work and how the credit card works. And I really like showing like all of the benefits to it. So one of the cool things about selling the membership is that I wanted to make sure that the people buying the membership were gonna get their full potential. I was very preemptive, me personally. I was very preemptive. So if I knew that the person was gonna be shopping like at all, if they're like, oh, I just need to come here for this one thing every now and then, I wouldn't really try to sell them an executive membership or even the credit card, because I knew that if I did, one, they probably wouldn't take advantage of all of their benefits, and 2, they might actually lose money. And I don't want that. I love the Costco membership and I love the executive, but you need to know how to use it. If you're not using it correctly, if you're not shopping enough to make your money back, if you're not using the services, it's just not going to be worth it for you. Same thing with the credit card. I understand that a lot of people just can't afford to have their credit checked. I don't want to sell things to people that they don't need. And that's one of the things that I did when I worked in membership. And I know that my manager like always pushed me to just sell as much as I could, but Personally, I didn't like that. So I stopped doing it, and that's why I looked to move out of that department. So some cons about this department: one, fast paced doesn't mean that your day's gonna go by fast. Sometimes you're just gonna go, 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 and then you look at the clock and it's only been 1 hour, and it really sucks. Another con is that I think this is where you get yelled at the most. I think this is where members find out information that they don't like, and so they let it out on you. So I think I got yelled at the most when I worked in the membership department. A con, it's a numbers game. The company keeps track of how many memberships you sell, what memberships you sell, your speed with returns. Like, they do look at all of that. I don't think it's very cutthroat, if you want to put it that way. But in my experience, it got brought up every month. We go through our numbers, we look at it, and if they're not what they want it to be, then it's like, you're not doing your job. Not like that. And it can be a bit demoralizing. So I consider that to be a con. Also, in my experience as well, if the membership department wasn't too busy, we were the first picks to go help the front end. Nobody likes the front end. All right. And my most favorite department in the whole warehouse is actually where I currently work. It's the optical department. So why do I like this department so much? And why have I been there? And why I don't think I will be leaving anytime soon? That was a mouthful. So to work in the optical department for more than a year, you do need to be a licensed optician. And like I showed you in my previous video, I do have both my ABO and my NCLE licenses, and I do renew them every 3 years and stuff like that. So, and the nice thing about being a licensed optician is that we make more money. I actually think that we make the most money below a manager. If I remember correctly, I think we even make more than supervisors. So yeah, the money is nice, and I am gonna say that I like the good pay, and because of that, a lot of people want to go in there, but it's not for everybody. So one thing about the optical department is that it's pretty chill. I at least I think so. I don't know. Okay, I am so curious. If you've worked at Costco, if you currently work there or you have worked there and you've been in these departments, I want to know your thoughts. Like, do you agree with me or do you like disagree? One of the things that I've experienced in the 3 warehouses where I've worked in optical departments is that there's a little bit less pressure for sales. Now, don't get me wrong. We still take a look at our numbers. We still look at what we're selling, how many like single pairs, double pairs, sunglasses, transitions, driveware, all of that, right? But our items are just so good, and they're like fairly well priced, and it's a really good quality. Like it just is. And I know this might be a little cliche, but the item sells for itself. So I don't think you need to try very hard. But at the same time, and maybe this is just me, but I love Costco, okay? I love Costco items, and I love Costco glasses. I mean, I have 2 glasses right here that, you know, I have glasses everywhere. But I believe in the product so much that just talking about it to members, I don't have to be like, hey, you should get 2. You need to get 2. There's coupons, get 2. You know what? Get 3. Like, I don't have to have a sales pitch or anything like that. In fact, I have to tell them like, hey, I'm not trying to give you a sales pitch. I'm literally just telling you, it's a good deal. It's a good product. If you need 1, get 1. But if you need 2 or if you need 3, you should get 2 or 3, because I'm not trying to get money out of you. I'm trying to help you see and be comfortable when you're seeing. But anyway, I digress. We will talk about optical another day because I'm very passionate about this topic. But back to why I really like the department. I get to spend time with people. There isn't always, or at least in my experience in my warehouses, we're not super crazy busy that I need to make every interaction really fast. I actually get to spend a few minutes with everybody that I helped and explain to them what they're getting, and it's just a good interaction. Another thing I really like about this is satisfying moments where, I don't know, have you ever seen those videos where like people like get their hearing aids for the first time and they hear their parents' voice for the first time and it's like, oh my gosh, and you want to cry? Well, I've had certain situations where kids are getting glasses for the first time, and obviously they need to try them there. So, you know, we want to make sure that the glasses are working. But they put them on and their eyes just like light up and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't see. And it happens with older people too. People that had like very outdated prescriptions and they get a new one. They're like, oh my gosh, I forgot what it was to see clearly because I've had my other glasses for 5-10 years, which how do you do that? I don't know. I think you should change glasses pretty often, to be honest, but I understand they can get expensive. Anyway, I think that's really cool to be able to see that, to be able to help people. Generally, people are more grateful for your services in the optical department. than other places. It happens more often than not, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Now, some cons about the optical, because there are some cons. So one, when people get mad, they get mad. and rightfully so. I mean, we're not talking about like a product that they bought, it like got spoiled or that it broke and we can't return it or whatever, even though we will. It's their sight. You know, if they can't see, like, it's stressful, it's frustrating. Like, I get it. So when something goes wrong with your glasses, you're going to be mad, and you have every right to be mad. Also, yeah, I mean, even though I think we're very well priced, like it's a fair price and it's low in comparison to like independent optometrists, it's still an expensive product. And yeah, I can see why people would be mad about spending a couple $100s for something that maybe needs more time to get fixed, or something went wrong, or like now you need to go back to the doctor and then come back to us, and it can be long and strenuous, and I get it. So when you get yelled at, you get yelled at. Also, one thing that I've noticed is that in optical, there's no like steadiness to how busy it is. It's either really busy the whole time, or like in sections, and then it's dead. Like, you'll just be sitting there looking for things to do. You'll be wiping glasses and re-cleaning counters, and then you get pulled to the front end or to another department. But I don't know, I'm curious, because I've heard that some of the other opticals, like, they are pretty steadily busy. But you tell me, have you been there? And then one con, it's a con and a pro. And this goes for every other department, but one I've noticed in optical is like, it's a small department with a very close group of people. There's usually like 5 to 9, I think, depending on how busy and how big your warehouse is. But you work with these people a lot. Same thing like in the deli, same thing in the food court. Anyway, if you don't get along with your coworkers, this could make your experience really bad. But if you get along with them and you all work really well together, it's going to be the best department. And I think really that's what it comes down to, right? The best jobs come when you enjoy the people that you work with. When people have your back, you don't have to worry about much more. So I think that's my point. Like, yeah, if you like the people you work with, get along with them, and everything's going to be okay. So a couple of jobs that I think would be super fun that I haven't worked in: hearing aid, which is right next to optical. And I think it's pretty in par. Like, you're now helping people with their hearing rather than their vision. From what I can tell, like, they're pretty happy employees there. Another department that I think would be fun would be our RTV, our return to vendor department. They usually have an early shift, and all they're doing is making sure that everything that gets returned to us gets sent back to our vendor. And their department is typically tucked in the back of the warehouse. They also don't have a lot of like member interaction. They just get to do their job and then go home. So I think that sounds really cool, very chill, just kind of in your own place. Nobody's breathing down your neck, telling you like how to do your job. So yeah, those are my top 3 with an additional 2 with pros and cons. What do you guys think? If you worked at Costco, do you agree? Do you disagree? I want to know, what are some of the jobs or departments where you want to work? Yeah, tell me all about it. Like, I'm so curious to hear from all of you. Anyway, that's it. I'll talk about the worst 3 in the next video. Okay, peace.